Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's week 8. College football's going so fast. I thought it was week 7. It's week 8. I put week 8 on something earlier, and Laura goes, or week 7 on something, and Laura goes, hey, dummy, it's week 8. It's college football season's flying by. I mean, and people are getting paid, and people are getting fired, and Kirk Cignetti, I tell you what, I guarantee you he got some bonus bets in his account tonight. Hopefully my friends at VIP Play can get their hands on Kurt Cignetti because he's got some serious bonus bets to play with now. Tony Basilio welcoming you in. It is week 8. This is Winners and Losers. The format here, the panel, whom I will introduce here momentarily, will have 3 college games, 1 NFL game. Then we pick the best from the best, and then we go for it. The clone will be by later on. He'll share his picks. Blair's not with us for another week, and Brian Hartman sends his regards as he is in Las Wages. In the meantime, it's time to break it down scientifically, presented by our friends at Dos Equis. Also, shout out to our friends at VIP Play. We're going to go for Dos. We're going to do it with the greatest of ease, moving from right to left across your device, moving down on the right side of our screen. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Meet and greet the man they call Nashville Lee. When he's not breaking the film down, here's a man that will find the winners and stay away from the losers. Also, back from where he's tanned, rested, and ready, an extended weekend, if you will, Kyle Blackburn's back with us. And then the superstar himself in the house, the VFL FL, Will Heflin in the house, and then the artist formerly known as Mr. C. He now goes by the name of C. He thought Mr. C was too pretentious. So one night during a personal conversation with Joshy Boy, he changed it just to C, and here we are. All right, Lee, let me start with you. Film nut that you are. Grade this card for me, my brother.
Yeah, I take a break from watching the film tonight, so to jump on here. But yeah, I love this card. Like, I think this is really good. Like, a lot of really good games, obviously, in the SEC this weekend. But even it starts off at like noon on Saturday with like Washington and Michigan, which I think is really good. Notre Dame and USC is one of my favorite games every year. We've got that this weekend, and we finish the night with like BYU and Utah. Like, incredible game. Yeah, and a lot of good stuff in Group of 5 too. So yeah, I think it's like an A card for sure.
You got every SEC team playing SEC teams. You got the Holy War that Lee's talking about late at night, which is always must-see TV. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in, who's out. It just does not matter. But this is a great amount of fun. It's going to be fun. All right, Lee, grade this card for me. Hit it, my friend.
Yeah, I think this is like a solid A. Like, this is one of my favorite weekends of the year. Obviously, third weekend in October with Tennessee and Bama, but Notre Dame and USC is one of my favorite games every year. We start the slate on Saturday morning with Washington and Michigan, which I think is an awesome game. We finish up late Saturday night with BYU, Utah. There's a lot of good Group of 5 games, important Group of 5 games too. So, yeah, I think this is a solid A. I think this is a great card.
And yeah, and we were talking with Mike Hugan today. There's so many great matchups. And not only are there great matchups, there are great matchups across the board, which AC, even like some of the middling games on the card are excellent. Like just hiding in plain sight. It's a very good weekend all the way around.
Yeah, you're right, Tony. It even starts tonight, Friday night. You got, I think Miami with maybe their toughest game left of the year against Louisville. But yeah, there's some other good games. A&M, Arkansas in the SEC. You got Texas Tech having played Arizona State. Yeah, it is. It's a really interesting card. Maybe not as. I think there's 4 games that have really big playoff implications for both teams, but
Yeah.
even beyond that, there's some other good games that I think should make for a good weekend of football.
All right, Kyle, you're back for the crown, brother. After a week, rested and ready to roll, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Why don't you throw the first pick out for us here? on Winners and Losers, presented by our friends at Dos Equis. Go for dosey dose. Kyle, what you got? And you're gonna go for two here, my brother. You're gonna
You
go
want
for
two?
two.
Do you want 2 picks?
I want 2 picks out of you.
All right. So first
But give
pick.
me your first one. Give me your first one, and then we're going to talk it out, and then we'll do your second one. Go ahead.
Outstanding. Well, I'm looking to rebound because I didn't have a great day. Y'all told me I wasn't going to have a great day. Tony clowned me in my absence, as usual, as the Dean of Discord. So I'm hoping to get back on track. Uh, I'm going to go with A&M team total over 34.5 versus Arkansas. I just think even though it's an away game, I think A&M is going to score a bunch of points. That's about what Tennessee scored, but I think we all agree Tennessee left at least 14, 17 points on the board last week when they played Arkansas. I think A&M is going to get there. I think they got a pretty good offense. And bottom line is, no matter how good their offense is, Arkansas's defense is really bad. So I think you could probably play the over on this if you wanted, because I do think Arkansas will score. But I'm going to go over 34.5 for the Aggies against Arkansas.
Any thoughts, guys? We saw that Arkansas team here in Knoxville last week, and Kyle likes A&M over 34.5. Any thoughts from the panel?
I like the over. Our team total for A&M's fine, but I like the over because I do think Arkansas will be able to score, but I think that maybe people are overselling a little bit Arkansas's defense. The improvement that supposedly they've made. I think it was more of an issue at Tennessee last week than any kind of improvement with Arkansas. Tennessee wasn't very crisp offensively, like Kyle said. I think that Arkansas is closer to the unit we saw against Notre Dame and Memphis and Ole Miss than what we saw last week as far as points allowed. I think they're still a really, really bad unit defensively.
Anybody else have this game on their radar, or a thought on Kyle's first play of the team total over 34.5 for Texas A&M?
Yeah, I like both of these. Both of these are fine. Yeah. I mean, I don't see very much resistance at all coming from Arkansas's defense against the A&M offense. Like, I think Concepcion and Craver and whoever A&M puts in at running back, their 4-string running back, if they have to, if it's a blowout late, I think A&M's going to score on them. So I full game over to A&M team total over. Both sound good to me.
And Lee, I had people getting mad at me on our Garza Law fifth quarter fan reaction, which, by the way, it's midnight madness tomorrow night for us. As soon as the Alabama game ends and way into the wee small hours of the morning. But I had people telling me that this Arkansas team was really a fine team and they're going to beat A&M. And, I'm just like, okay. I mean, what planet are you living on? Arkansas is not going to beat A&M tomorrow, and A&M's going to run all over them, Lee. They're going to run all over them.
I mean, tell me how Arkansas gets stops against that offense. I mean, if you're being realistic, like, unless A&M just doesn't show up or they turn the ball over a bazillion times, like, I don't see it happening. Like, I think A&M I think they're the best team in the SEC. Now, like I said, maybe it's a bad spot or something for them. They just don't show up, but that's what you're counting on, I think, if you're betting Arkansas here.
All right, Kyle, your second play. Well done.
I'm going to go other way with this. I'm going to go Kentucky under team total 14.5. They're hosting Texas. I think Stoops will run his usual try not to get blown out game plan. They just don't have a very good offense. Good thing is Texas is kind of suspect anyway, but has a great defense. And I do feel like if Texas gets a lead, they'll probably just try to sit on it and get out of there. I don't see them blowing anyone out. And that's kind of how Stoops does his thing. So I'm going to go Kentucky under 14.5 team total against Texas.
Thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I didn't play it, but I lean Texas to cover, so I like this play. 12.5 is just a weird number, and like Kyle said, it could be really slow, especially late if both coaches are trying to just get out of there. But I don't know that I necessarily see Kentucky putting together 3 full drives on this Texas defense.
Imagine guys going to a home football game, a sporting event, outside of Tennessee Titan fans Who has a team total in a football game of 14.5, guys?
Wisconsin is 7.5 this
Wisconsin
week.
is 7.5. Yeah. Beat me, Lee. You beat me to it.
I mean, what are we doing? Why are those coaches still employed? I'm sorry.
I think Fickle's employed just to take a beating, so they don't have to pass that on to anybody else. But I could be wrong. But it's a good question.
All right, let me jump in here. Will Heflin, you are next on the mic.
Boy, do I have an ugly one for you, Tone. SEC at noon. Give me the home Vanderbilt Commodores minus the 2 against LSU.
Guys, I mean, when it opened, we all kind of thought, well, that is what the power ratings say. But damn it, it's weird looking at that, Lee, is it not? I mean, you're in Nashville with Kyle. That's got to be weird city for you guys to look at this. Just weird.
Yeah, Vandy as a favorite in the league. It's something, I don't know, we've seen like maybe once in like 5 years against Kentucky or something. Yeah, it's pretty odd. I mean, I would have loved to have gotten the underdog god Pavia as a dog, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. So yeah, I think Vandy finds a way to win. I've gone back and forth though on how to play, whether or not I want to play it or not. Yeah, it's just bringing yourself to play Vandy as a favorite is a little. It's just different. It's just a different role for them. But I do think they win the game.
Kyle?
That's my third play was actually playing the under at 48.5. And I was looking, and actually Matt was the one who had came up with a stat that in 8 SEC games since upsetting Bama last year, Vandy's averaging 18 points in SEC games. So I was kind of looking at how that would work number wise. You could still even get them higher than that. And based on if the spread's correct, based on the power ratings, it would still fall under because that under was 48.5. So I played the under. I couldn't figure out what I want to do as far as if I want to take Vandy or not. Something tells me just to play LSU, but they're bad. But there's also a part of me, Lee understands this. It's kind of like when you're waiting on the other shoe to drop with Vanderbilt and their schedule. Been a little bit, they've gotten a little fortuitous, a few fortuitous bounces. So I don't know, but I played the under. I don't mind the play at -2 though. That's where it's supposed to be.
Here's the simple truth. Vandy wins this game tomorrow. They will wake up on Sunday morning in tier 2 of playoff hopefuls heading into week 9. Now, I don't know if any of you had that on your Singo card. I certainly didn't. See, now that the game's here, what is your sense of this ball game? Any leans from you?
Yeah, I think Vandy will win the game. I think that LSU just is not. I don't see how LSU is going to be able to really control the ball in this game. I think Vandy's going to probably. I would expect, but just based on the matchup and the style of play from these teams, Vandy should be 35, 40 minutes time of possession in this game. And I don't think LSU's offense is going to be able to do enough to win this game. I do think it'll be kind of an ugly game. I'm not sure how well Vandy will be able to finish drives against that LSU defense. LSU's a little bit beat up. Vandy coming off the bye. It's a pretty good spot at home, even with the 11 a.m. kick Nashville time. Like Lee said, you'd prefer to be able to get Vandy as an underdog in this spot, but even as a favorite, I think less than a field goal. I think Vandy's the side here. I just think Vandy has too many advantages matchup wise, and just as bad as LSU's become offensively, it's hard for me to see them winning this game.
And
Here's
Nussmeier has a oblique injury. That's the inside word. And for some reason, they won't shut him down. I don't. It's kind of like playing the Oklahoma quarterback. Why would you throw a guy out there that's ineffective? But go ahead, Will.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, LSU can't run the ball.
No.
And, we'll leave the film to Lee, but you looking at their schedule, you talk about them entering into tier 2, right? They have A&M next week, and then they go to Tuscaloosa, and they've still got to go to Norman, Oklahoma. Like, if they have any realistic hope of getting in the playoffs, and for them, it's probably going to have to be the best 9-3 resume, and
Yep.
that's on the table this year. you still have to win this game for that to even be a pipe dream. And so we'll see.
I'll tell you this, and we're going to get your second pick because you're going to go for Dose, presented by our friends at Dos Equis Lager Especial. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you dare enjoy your college football weekend without it. A golden Pilsner style beer made from the choice of hops, balanced composition, smooth, clean finish. Party guest always invited, never overstays his welcome. You will go for Dose. And look, a lager beer. They've got different varieties. Dos Equis lager. They've got a special, which is a pale lager. They've got the Ambar special, which is a Vienna lager with a richer flavor. So there is a Dos Equis for you. Go for Dos. Will Heflin, go for Dos.
Okay, before I go for Dose, I got to correct myself. I was looking at LSU's. They're in the same boat, so the point actually applies to both of them.
Yeah.
But Vanderbilt's at home. Next week, they have Missouri. Then they go to Texas. And obviously, they have to go to Tennessee. I was like, why don't they play? I know they play Tennessee. What am I looking at? It's like looking at the wrong dang schedule. But
yeah,
the
we
point
knew
is the same. They
we
still
knew
have
where
to
you
win.
were. Hey, here's the thing about LSU. LSU loses tomorrow. Brian Kelly is going to get fired. That job is going to open. That's what's going to happen.
He might. Okay. Going for Dose here. I'm going to take another SEC team at home. This one we're getting points. South Carolina 5.5 and Lee Bryce. They're playing Oklahoma. This could be really, really ugly. But South Carolina at home, they got a decent amount of money coming in, even though all the tickets are on Oklahoma.
Yep.
So we'll take the points. I mean, the SEC is so balanced. There's been so many one-score games. I would like to say 6.5, but it's sitting at 5.5 right now. That's fine. I think it's a really close game. Oklahoma's struggling on offense. We saw that last week. Yes, Texas is a way better defense than South Carolina is, but Sellers can make some plays and score a little bit more than Texas was probably able to do until they basically got handed a bunch of good drives from field position and just Oklahoma not being able to move the ball at all. They were just able to wear down that OU defense because they were on the field the whole game. So anyways, long-winded wordy Will way of saying South Carolina plus the points, 5.5.
Wordy Will into his house. Kyle, your thoughts on that play? Because look, I don't know how Oklahoma musters anything when their quarterback can't grab the football.
Yeah, this seems like the zone for Frankie Jr., right? This is a Frankie Jr. special. I was going to ask Willie if there's a prop bet for successful special teams trick play on VIP play, because that would be an awesome prop. But yeah, I think he capped it perfectly, actually. And it's just these are the games that Frankie shines in, right? He doesn't want to play really graceful, really beautiful football. He wants to drag everything in the mud, and that's his style. Good, and they'll play defense. The crowd will be really excited. You know how it is there. Even if they're not very good, it's still a really tough place to play.
Hey, Lee, can you imagine taking that quarterback and sticking him on the field against that Texas defense last week? How silly that was. I had a better chance against them, Lee.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like Venables was like his job was like at stake, and that's their biggest rival, and they had no trust in Hawkins. But I mean, Mateer was even hesitant to run with the ball.
Yes.
And here's the thing: is I'm not even like, I don't even think that the hand injury was like, he was still doing Mateer stuff like playing YOLO ball, Superman ball. Like the interception before halftime was completely like you can't do that. And he would have done that with a healthy hand and thrown that interception. And that's what really changed the whole game, I thought. Like, that's kind of what people didn't talk about with Mateer and some of the stuff he did last year, the stuff that gets teams in trouble. So, but yeah, I don't think it was a good decision. Oklahoma hasn't scored more than 2 touchdowns in an SEC game since they joined the conference, by the way.
What? Say that again?
Yeah, they haven't scored more than 2 touchdowns in an SEC game, 2 offensive touchdowns in an SEC game yet.
What in the hell? See, is that true?
Yeah, I mean, 7 days ago we had people acting like this team is the top 5 team in the country for some reason. I could not figure out what was going on when this team has one of the worst offenses in the league. I personally like the under here. I don't see really any way either of these teams can score on the other. I can't bet that South Carolina team last week. Um, I don't know how many people were watching. It was right after the Tennessee game. They got two fumbles at the 1 yard line, scored 10 points. I mean, they're just a net disaster. Oklahoma, obviously, like Lee said, can't score. Mateer's banged up. I don't see how. I just don't know how South Carolina's going to score enough. That's what scares me. I do agree it's a good spot,
Yeah.
but
Punt blocks, and pick sixes. That's the only thing that will kill this under.
yeah, that's South Carolina special teams beamer ball. That's the only way because that Oklahoma defensive line. I mean, what are they going to do to that South Carolina team? I mean, I don't know. This is going to be a really ugly game. Oklahoma's obviously the better team here. Good spot for South Carolina. I would prefer the under just because I have so little faith in both offenses. Two
Hey,
really awful units.
see, give me your first play from the colleges, as it's winners and losers presented by our friends at Dos Equis. And shout out to VIP play. And I'm gonna let Willie tell you about what we've got coming up this weekend over at VIP play. Go ahead, see.
I'm going to go to a Friday night game here. I've kind of been talking about this Louisville team for weeks. And this is we've gone against Miami a few times, and um, Florida State almost got in the back door against Mario,
Yep.
who's nobody's worse at closing games out and playing situational football than Mario.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a big coaching mismatch with Brom and Cristobal here. Um, so I'm going to go with Louisville. I guess this is under 14 now. I think this is around 13, 13 and a half. That's fine. Um, this is Louisville off a bye here. Obviously, the big concern, like anybody Miami plays, is can you hold. Matt Dixon and I were talking about this one today. Um, can you hold up at the line of scrimmage against Miami? And Miami is, or Louisville, excuse me, their biggest weakness is their offensive line. That's a little bit of a concern, but they are healthier at running back. They've gotten some other guys back at some other positions. I think, this is something where I think Louisville can keep this close if they can just hold up front. Um, but even if they don't, even if this gets away from 'em a little bit, Brom, I think again, Brom against Cristobal down the stretch, the back door, you'll have a good chance of getting in the back door here at 13, 13 and a half. So I think Louisville is probably the second best team in the league, in my opinion. I think Georgia Tech obviously finds a way to win games. They are getting some Virginia, all those teams, but Louisville is probably talent wise and coach wise number two in this league, and so this will be a tough game for Miami if Louisville's ready to go up front. And then, like I said, even if they're not, I do think we're gonna get a Cristobal disaster at some point down the stretch. So this is a good spot for that, I think.
Panel, anybody have a thought? Louisville plus 13 with Miami. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah. So I've had this circled for a while for Louisville. It's like the one spot that I was, kind of interested in fading Miami. Brom as an underdog is always going to catch my eye in these kind of spots. My only worry is really like two things. Like, as good as Brom's record is against underdogs, he has had games in the past where he's severely outmatched and gotten hammered. There was like a game against Ohio State back in like 2017 where like I was on Purdue, I think it was 2017, and he got absolutely just smoked. Like, it wasn't even close. The other thing, I'm not a big Miller Moss fan. Like, he completely wilts under pressure, and that's the other thing that I hate. Like, the matchup going up against Bain and Messador on that Miami defensive line scares the hell out of me. But the spot's good. Brom is good in these spots. I haven't bet it. I would bet it would be Louisville if I had to. I really need 14. I have to have 14 before I can personally do it.
Interesting. Anybody else have a thought on C's first play? All right, let's move along. C, give me play number 2 here as he goes for Dos, presented by our friends at Dos Equis. You can win beer for a year. Go over to dosequis.com and learn more. Go ahead, C.
I'm going to go to the Tennessee Alabama game. I'm going to go to the over here. Uh, I think that, and Blee's kind of talked about this. I know, but these Bama games have slowed down these last couple weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and the unders have hit against both Mizzou and Vandy. But I think in this game, this is a Tennessee team that was able to get in a shootout with a very, very, very mediocre Georgia team. They get in. I think they're 5-1 to the over in these games.
Yep.
This Tennessee defense is really bad. It's with McCoy and Gibson both out, and obviously, and they're not coming back as we know. I mean, this is a game I don't know how much we need to break down. It's been broken down so much, but um, I just I don't think that this number could get high enough for me. I think Bama will win this game. It would be probably Bama or nothing if I was playing the spread. Even though um, even though Bama's been playing some close games, I think the Tennessee on the road here, it's going to be a tough spot for Tennessee to win. I just don't see Tennessee slowing down Ty Simpson at all. This is like we said, they made Gunnar Stockton look like a really good quarterback. They made Shapen kind of look competent.
Yeah.
UAB went up and down the field on him.
Yeah.
And I mean, even that Syracuse game, I know Syracuse has still had
And Jelly.
Angeli in that game, yeah,
Yep.
but I mean they got into the mid-20s against Tennessee. There's really no resistance from Tennessee. I know Tennessee's only hope of stopping these guys, just like everybody's getting turnovers,
Mm-hmm.
getting some pressure on the quarterback. Ty Simpson has shown he can stand in against pressure. We saw it against Missouri last week.
Yeah.
He had the one fumble, but he's making big time throws, and there's going to be guys wide open down the field against this Tennessee secondary. And then on the other side, I do think Tennessee will be able to move the ball. I don't think this Alabama defense in the back end is nearly as good as maybe the numbers indicate. They've been playing teams that can't throw the ball at all. I mean, what we saw from Mizzou last week, and even Pavia, I think Tennessee's a lot better in that aspect of the game than either of those two teams. So I do think we're finally going to be able to get a team that's going to be able to throw the ball in the Bama secondary, and I also think Tennessee defensively is probably worse than both Vandy and Mizzou. So we're going to go back to kind of something that Lee's been talking about the last couple weeks, these Bama overs. I think with this Tennessee defense and Tennessee offense, I think we're going to get over the number here.
What's the number you're looking at there, C?
I think what is that right now on VIP play?
Willie, what you got?
It's
What's the number, Willie?
Let's see. I'll look it up right now.
58.
58.
58 and a half. Yeah.
I second that emotion. If Tennessee doesn't tighten it up, they'll get 40 scored on them tomorrow. Tennessee's got Tennessee's got to start doing little things well on defense, or they could get hammered tomorrow. They really could. I don't think they will, but they better tighten up their defense.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath. I feel like kind of at this point in the season, it just kind of is what it is. Like you're just getting it lined up right, and like the communication seems to be off. Like they're looking around, like when the ball's snapped, like they don't have all their heads facing. It's kind of concerning.
It's tough to watch.
I just don't see it. And even when they are lined up correctly in the right place, they take bad angles and they don't tackle well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a hard time seeing Tennessee slowing Bama down in this game. So yeah, I mean, I've touted Bama overs the last 2 weeks and gotten burned on both of them. I still think they were kind of the right sides, but they didn't get home, is what it is. So I like the over more than I like the side where this number is at right now currently.
Lee, give me your first play from the colleges. The C has Louisville plus 13.5 with Miami. And then the UT Bama over 48.5. He says, give it to me all day long. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, go to the Big Ten. Obviously, this game nobody's really probably going to want to watch, and that's fine. But the first bet I made this week was Purdue plus 3.5 against Northwestern. This is probably 3 now everywhere, which is fine as long as you're getting 3. Yeah, I just think this is a great spot to go against Northwestern. They're coming off of an outright win as a 22-point dog against Penn State. Now they're coming home to play Purdue. Not very much of a home field advantage where they play. I give them about 1 point for home field. Purdue's been pretty unlucky. They outgained Minnesota by over 200 yards last week, lost on a pick 6 at the end of the game. The week before against Illinois, they went toe-to-toe with Illinois, like yardage-wise. I mean, put up like 450 yards on them. They scored 30 against Notre Dame. Like, Odom is itching to get a Big Ten win. I think he knows he can get this one. I've got Purdue power ranked on a neutral, like almost 3 points better than Northwestern, actually. So I'm showing a pretty nice edge here with this number. I think the spot favors Purdue. I think Odom gets his first Big Ten win. Yeah, I like Purdue plus 3. I like this quite a bit.
I like the thought, too, because bad teams have trouble. It's kind of like why we played UCLA last week. Bad teams a lot of times have trouble handling any kind of success. We saw that here in Knoxville when the Vols were bad. It's just sort of a good axiom to follow. Anybody else have this game on our radar before we get Lee's Go For Dose second pick here? All right, Lee, go ahead. Second pick.
All right, so I guess I've got to get an over. I've been giving out a lot of over. So Not going to give out the Air Force over. That should be a given by now, since they
All
are
right.
since they are the best team in the country, at least offensively. They should be the national champion. But Florida Atlantic and USF is the highest total of the year so far. It got bumped up again today. It is up to 73. That's fine. I would play this up to like 78. Like this is going to get blown out of the freaking water, man. Like these are the two fastest paced teams in the country. FAU is number one in pace, like 18 seconds per play. That's number two. FAU has no defense. They're not going to stop USF like at all. USF's going to score pretty much every time they have the ball. They're at home. USF scored 63 last week against North Texas, and that includes a turnover in the red zone, and they sat on the ball the last like 8 minutes of the game because it was a blowout. And they scored 63. They're going to get I think they're probably going to get into the 60s again in this game. And FAU's got a pretty nice offense with Kitley running that thing. Like, they're going to score. I think they can get into the 30 easily here. So, yeah, I think this flies through 73. Like, there's a reason why this is set so high. Yeah, this is like my kind of game. So, yeah, give me a boatload of points. I think this thing is going to wind up closer to in the 90s. So,
all right, let's check in with does anybody have any thoughts on that? Lee playing a really high over. That would make me nervous just to sit there and watch that. Anybody else going to bite on that? Go ahead, C.
I was going to say, I think those, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think those super high overs are generally pretty profitable. Like, just like kind of the low unders typically when something looks super high, or like when you get those unders in the low 30s,
yeah,
and those overs in the 70s, I think historically those are 60+%. I don't have the exact numbers. Lee could probably
the books don't know how to, like, the models and like the ratings don't know how to properly put a number on it when you get teams like this that play so fast. Like, there's very good likelihood you're going to get at least 175 plays in this game, which is the models just don't really know what to do with that. So they just kind of put a number out there. Of course, it's higher, and some people are just going to bet the under just because it's so high. So yeah, in all actuality, I think this is low, like with these two teams. So,
all right, let's go ahead and see what the clone has. And here's his first play from the colleges.
Well, hello, welcome in. It's that time again for this week's Vince Ferrari's pick. And I'm going to kind of go off of the caller Rusty's take this week here on the Basilio platform, where I think Tennessee has had a great week of practice, and I would be stunned if they don't show up and play at a much higher clip than what they showed against Arkansas. But I do like Tennessee, specifically first half over team total 12.5 points. You can get that right now for about $1.25, 125 minus 130 range. Again, Tennessee over 12.5 on their team total first half. Close game first half, and I do feel like Alabama pulls away late. Good luck.
Okay, what about it, guys? Team total 12.5 for the Vols. What do y'all think? Anybody?
I mean, that's in line with C's over. It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
What's the laughter about? I don't get the laughter. Are you guys trying to crack here? All right, one more from the clone, then we go back to Kyle.
That's right. Welcome back to another week of college football. I'm the Juke. I've got you a lock this week, plus a bonus bet. Take Duke. That's right. Juke likes Duke. Small money line play. For a bonus play, some of your books are taking winning margin by the bands of 10, 1 to 10, Duke to win, between 1 and 10 points, close game, Duke wins at home by a field goal or a touchdown. You can get that for plus 250. Who doesn't love making money?
Guys, who doesn't love making money? Do any of you love making money?
My money is great, Tom. 1 to 10 bands are especially.
The 1 to 10 band's the first time we've had a 1 to 10 band bet, I think.
Cloney! Hey, Cloney, stick to voices. All right, Kyle. Cloney, let the pros pick, and you stick to doing voices, okay, and comedy. Kyle, we're back to you. Go for Trace, bro, from the colleges.
So my third play that I was sure of was the Vandy LSU under.
Okay, that
So
was
this
good.
one
Okay, yeah, you're good. Okay. You want to do one more, or are you good?
Yeah. So
All right,
this one
go ahead.
you guys can kick around because I think it's interesting. Those of you that are that do this even way more than I do. I'm going to go under on Clemson's team total against SMU, and this is purely an injury play. We're not really sure what's going to happen with Cade Klubnik yet. He had an ankle injury, I think, in the last game in the third quarter, but their injury list already is pretty long, which is also kind of a sign that those dudes have checked out maybe on Dabo this season. We've talked about that before, so I think regardless of whether he plays and he's limited or he's out, um, it was under 29 on Clemson's team total.
All right. Under 29 Clemson team total. You guys have any thoughts there? Anybody? All right, let's move along. Go ahead, Willie. You were going to say something? Or
I
you're up
was just going to
next?
say they scored a lot the last 2 weeks, but it was against two horrible defenses. So
No doubt. And in that league, there are some rough watches in that league. ACC football is an acquired taste, kind of like the Clones comedy. Will, give me play number 3. Go ahead.
well, I gave out two hold your nose type of plays already in the go for dose. So the third one will be a little bit more easy to swallow. It's JMU at home, short home favorite against Old Dominion, probably the two best teams in the Fun Belt. But JMU just knows how to win. They're at home. It's probably the winner gets the 1 seed, or the winner's locked up to make that conference championship game, and still in the conversation for that G5 playoff spot. I think it's probably going to be the Memphis USF champion just because of their resumes. But in the G5, you just don't know how that stuff's going to shake out. So you might as well win your league and see what happens. So I like this game. I like JMU at home.
Hey, James Madison's got a legitimate football program. There's no doubt about that. Signetti left it in good hands, and it continues to burn up there at James Madison, about 5 hours up the road from where we are here in Knoxville. Anybody else got a little James Madison this week with Old Dominion?
I'm actually opposite. I like Old Dom here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they got caught looking ahead last week and took a really bad loss to Marshall.
Okay.
These are the two best teams in the Sun Belt, and this is going to decide that conference. So, I mean, I think you get a massive bounce back here from Old Dom. I think they're extremely focused, and I think offensively Old Dom's so much better than James Madison. Like, this James Madison offense they can't throw the ball. It's extremely worrisome. But they're at home. I mean, Will's right. Like, they've shown they know how to win games, and the loss last week was a little bit worrisome. The fact that this line is basically a pick 'em is kind of head scratching. Like, I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, I've kind of ridden Old Dom a lot this year. I'm gonna back them this week.
Hey, yeah, a couple years ago, man, I loved Signetti. Now, I didn't know he would do what he did, but he made me a lot of money a couple years ago. Will, what is that number with James Madison? What do you have it at?
Uno
Punto.
It's a pick 'em.
So they're -1.
Yeah.
In their building. C, play number 3 from the colleges.
Sorry, get myself unmuted there. I'm going to go with a team that we've talked a lot about. We've messaged a lot about in our little group message here. I think Lee talked about him earlier. Air Force is playing Wyoming this week. This game is at Wyoming. So we're getting a little bit of a discount here on it. This Air Force offense, like Lee said, is absolutely dynamite. They played that UNLV team last week, and I was watching that almost as close as I was to the Tennessee game. It's very entertaining. If you guys haven't seen this Air Force team, they're just a machine. I think that I guess this number's at 4. Is that right, Will?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fine. I think Air Force is much better. Obviously, it's a little scary relying on this Air Force defense. I don't see Wyoming getting any stops in this game. I mean, the Air Force offense is explosive. They're going to score quick. They're going to score often. Obviously, they're probably going to give up a ton of points in this game. But I think Air Force will get enough stops. Wyoming's just not very good. We're the numbers so low here just because of how bad Air Force's defense is, but even Wyoming or even Air Force's defense, I think, can get a few stops against Wyoming, and their offense will do enough to kind of stretch this out. I don't think there's much of a home field advantage here. I know Wyoming had the game. Even Wyoming played the game with all the ice and all the snow, all that whatever it was a couple weeks ago. It's not a tough place to play. Wyoming's not very well coached, so I'm going to ride Air Force here and hope that they can score enough to make that terrible defense irrelevant.
Anybody else have this game on their radar? Should be entertaining, no doubt. And by the way, I love Wyoming's uniforms, and that stadium they play in's pretty next level as well, from watchability perspective. Anybody else? All right, let's move along. Lee, give us your third play from the college Ayers.
Yeah, Air Force overs are automatic. There's like 2 elite units in college football. It's Ohio State's defense and then Air Force's offense, national championship offense. But yeah, go the very last game of the day on Saturday. Florida State going to Stanford. For some reason, they're laying 18 points. Stanford's not any good, but neither is Florida State. They don't give a damn about this game. Florida State hasn't won like a road conference game since like 2023, I think, something like that. Yeah, I'm on Stanford plus 18. It's a Stanford money line plus 700, something like that.
How about that, guys? What has gone wrong at Florida State, guys, through y'all's eyes? And are they done losing yet?
They got a bad quarterback, an overrated quarterback. I don't think it's very good. I think that Alabama game was a little bit of a fluke. They really got up for that, played well, and I think that this is just who they are. I just don't think this is very good. Not a very good team at all. So.
Anybody else have a thought on that play? Because 18 points gone across the country. That's pretty wild.
They just can't throw the ball. So unless they're ahead of the chains the whole day and just, rush for 200 plus, I don't see them running away from anybody. As bad as Stanford is, that's a hold your nose play, but they could win the game.
Yes, I agree with Lee. And the other thing you get, like Kyle was talking about, with the upper echelon of the ACC, whatever that means, but those guys are going to check out. Like when you build your team, especially at Florida State, on a lot of one-year wonders, we saw that last year. I mean, those teams say, see you, wouldn't want to be you to each other in the locker room. Those kids do. All right, let's go to the NFL. Before we do, Willie, tell me about the weekend over at VIP Play, because I'm cooking up an incredible bet that will be in the hopper by the time people hear this over at VIP Play. So go ahead, Willie. What we got coming up this weekend?
There you go. So this past week, last weekend, we ran a sweepstakes for $500 bonus bet. And the guy who won, super nice fella, Joshy boy, not your Joshy boy, but a different Joshy boy in Knoxville. So that was cool to tell him he won. So we're running that back this weekend, either a $500 bonus bet or a tailgate food package. I think it's like $400 in value for any game of your choice the rest of the season. So that would be cool if tailgating's your thing. We're doing another longest odds contest. The winner last week was a 3-leg tight end touchdown parlay. It was like Waller, Ferguson, and somebody else I'm forgetting. But it was like almost plus 30 to 1. So like almost plus 3,000. So that was cool. Running that back. And then we'll have your special up there. Put a little boosty boost on that. And it'll be a good weekend. we talked about the card being an A. I think it's an A bettability card. I think we may have had a couple watchabilities like that were a little bit more sexy, but this is just a phenomenal slate. Everybody's in conference. There's a lot of cool spots to bet on, some games we haven't even touched on. So it should be a fun weekend.
No question. I echo your sentiment entirely. And in fact, as the year goes along, the matchups are getting more and more succulent in terms of what's going to happen and interesting potential spots for teams. And take the Alabama-Tennessee game tomorrow. Alabama's playing their fourth consecutive game against high caliber competition. Do they crack? Who knows? Moving along. All right, so let's go back to the top. Kyle, your first play from the NFL.
So I think I'll know what I'm going to do. I am going
Yeah.
to fade the Titans.
But they're
So
they're under new tutelage though.
well, I mean, Lee can come coach the team and they'd be better. So any of us can. They ought to do open auditions. I'm going to go with Pat's money line and under on the total 42.5. It's a plus 125. I like to go through VIP play and find one of those combos, and I like that one.
All right, so the Pats on the money line and the under. Is that what you said?
Correct.
All right. Next up is, let's see here, Will Heflin from the NFL.
I'm going to defer because I got to go first last week and everybody wanted to give out the Chiefs and I stole it. So
All right.
come back around to me.
C, you're next.
C's going to take mine.
I've got two that I'm debating between. I'm going to go with the Vikings.
I told you. I knew it. I was like
That's
minus
why I
10,000.
deferred,
So he was
Tom.
giving out the Vikings minus 10,000.
This Eagles team's a joke. The Vikings are let's see the numbers. They're down to 1.5 here. At home against the Eagles. I just can't stop. I can't get enough of fading this fraudulent Eagles team.
I don't understand. I mean, in my presence, can you figure out other words to use? I mean, do we have to say the word fraudulent?
I mean, I said it a few weeks ago. This team's headed down that path that team 2 years ago was on that lost all those games in a row after that fraudulent start.
And
Last year
Lee,
they were a legitimate team. They won the
yeah,
Super Bowl. We
well,
never said a
thanks.
bad word
Thanks.
about
Yeah,
them.
I'm glad we were legitimate last year. Thanks.
You got your Super Bowl, but now we're back to Jalen Hurts, who's playing tight end, playing quarterback here, and they're pretending he's Patrick Mahomes with their play calling. This defense is shaky. I don't really understand why they're favored in this game in Minnesota. I don't know what else to even say. This is a kind of a joke of a team, and so we'll take the Vikings getting points at home against Jalen Hurts pretending to play quarterback. Cosplaying as a quarterback, as some would say.
Cosplaying is a great term when it applies. Do Lee, you want to pile on as well?
Yeah,
on
definitely.
my birds.
Yeah, definitely. This line makes no sense. Why I have no idea why the Eagles are favored.
You guys are ridiculous. The Eagles are favored because they've got a way about them, Billy Joel. What do you mean? Why are they favored?
I don't know what way that is, but yeah, I mean the Vikings. Okay, first of all, the Eagles are in desperate need of a bye week. I think they got it the week after this to get some things reset, to figure out this offense. That offense is an absolute joke right now. They can't do anything. Vikings are coming off of a bye week with one of the best coaching staffs in the league with O'Connell and Flores. They're going to have the best game plan possible ready for this. The matchup here is terrible for Philadelphia. Hurts against because I watch film, Hurts against cover 2 and against zone is negative 0.2 EPA points per play. He's bottom of the league versus cover 2, bottom of the league versus zone. And that's all that the Vikings are going to play. He's also awful against the blitz. Flores is going to dial it up against him. Now, look, we don't know who's playing quarterback. I don't know specifically for the Vikings, but there's really not much difference power rating-wise between Wentz and McCarthy. McCarthy has a little bit higher.
Wait a second. You guys think Carson Wentz is going to beat the Eagles?
Carson Wentz, his numbers aren't great, but they're he's sitting around middle of the pack, 11 to 15th, and all the quarterback metrics. He's been serviceable. He's been fine. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between him and McCarthy. McCarthy probably has a higher ceiling, but yeah, I don't think it matters in this game. I just think the Eagles need that bye week coming up, like Vikings coming off of a bye week.
Yeah.
I think it's a big time coaching mismatch in this, like scheme matchup. Everything favors the Vikings here. Plus, you're catching points and one of the best home fields like in the league in Minnesota. Yeah, I love the Vikings this week.
Bo Nix and Jackson Dart. Haven't Bo Nix and Jackson Dart beat this team the last 2 weeks?
To my
The
buddy,
Giants lit them up, man. The Giants destroyed them.
Hey,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
hey.
The Eagles on defense, they're missing Jalen Carter on the defensive line. Quinyon Mitchell's also gone, so they're basically down to Ringo and Adoree Jackson trying to cover those receivers for the Vikings. Good luck with that.
well, we got Ringo Starr at safety. So here's the thing. To my buddy Jack Fritz, who's an afternoon host in Philadelphia, if Carson Wentz beats them, Lee, can you imagine? He just has to open the phones for 5 days. People up there are going to freak out if that happens, guys. But
And it's a bye week. It's a bye week to dwell on it.
So, Jack Fritz, we wish you well. And Jack Fritz, in a lot of ways, I cheer for the Eagles, but I'm cheering for good radio for you, brother. We might have to make that a power play and root on old Carson Wentz and his broken wing. Do we have anything else? Will, do you have anything else for us? Because you were going to give something out earlier. Is that what you're going to give out?
You know, you can't say I've never done anything for you because I didn't pile on and I knew exactly where that was going, Tony.
You knew they were going to do that to me?
I for some reason, we differ on a lot of, there's so many more college games, but I knew they were going to the Vikings. I'll pivot a little bit. It must be hold your nose week because I'm on the Brownies. I don't know why we have yet to see Mike McDaniel's last game in Miami, but he's still there. This could be the one. But Dylan Gabriel's third start, he hasn't been great, but he's played 2 tough defenses.
Yeah.
He should get a little more time in the pocket to work this week, maybe distribute the football a little bit because they've got some guys, and it could be a Judkins breakout game. And then I really do fear for the health of Tua going up against this D-line. So the Brownies are short favorites. You don't get that a lot, but I'm kind of the guy who jumps on a bad team being a favorite when they are because it's just kind of that spot. So
Jimmy Haslam's done a nice job. Let's go through the picks. I mean that
real quick, Tone. I was just going to say that that would have been the other play I was going to give out was the Browns.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a good chance there's going to be 50-mile-an-hour winds. That's what they're calling for now in that game. I did just want to mention that because there is going to be weather impacting college games and professional games this weekend, especially around the Midwest, upper Midwest sort of area. Particularly wind is the main thing I look at with weather. Some rain, like Notre Dame USC game potentially, and some other games. But yeah, in that Browns game, it's pretty much going to be who can run the ball because of the wind factor there, which I think definitely favors the Browns big time. And yeah, I don't know why Mike McDaniel still has a job. I mean, he's over there on the sideline, eating like a handful of gummies and vaping the whole time, completely stoned out of his mind. But yeah.
Let's go, man. Handful of gummies, vaping. May I suggest to him some Dos Equis? The next opportunity he gets, he looks like a guy that would, let's see what kind that he would enjoy. I don't know. But Dos Equis Lager Especial absolutely has it going on. Make it a part of your football weekend. Here are our plays. Kyle likes A&M's over 34.5 at Arkansas. Kentucky under 14.5 with Texas in their building. Vanderbilt LSU team total or Vanderbilt LSU game total under 48.5 and under 29 with the Clemson team total. Will likes Vandy -2 with LSU. South Carolina plus 5.5 versus Arkansas. James Madison -1 versus Old Dominion. C likes Louisville plus 13.5 with Miami. Bama over 48.5.
58.5, unfortunately.
Bama UT over 58.5 in that game. I put 48.5. You know me, I'm into the details. Air Force -4 at Wyoming. Lee likes Purdue +3 versus Northwestern after their success last week. They won't be able to handle it. Northwestern won't. He likes Florida Atlantic's USF over. He likes that game to go over 73. He likes Stanford plus 18 versus Florida State in some late night, bleary eyed, where we will be tomorrow night. I'll no doubt be watching that game as we do Garzalaw fifth quarter fan reaction. From the NFL, Kyle says take the Pats money line and the under the game with the Titans. I don't know if they're charging admission to that or not. That's to be determined. C likes and Lee likes the Vikings plus 1.5 against my Eagles. I think that's going to be a power play with the unanimity that occurred around here. And then Will, for giggles, likes Cleveland -1 versus the Miami Dolphins. All right, guys, what are the 3 plays? Will, you did well last week. We went 2-1. You picked them out, Willie, but what are we going to do this week? We'll make the Eagles one of them because you guys are urinating. You guys are urinating me off. So we'll make
the Eagles opponent.
Yeah, the Vikings plus 1.5 will be one of them.
+2. But yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
From the colleges, which few did we agree on the most? I'm trying to think back. I mean, the Air Force overs have treated us well.
All right.
And I think they're at home against Wyoming.
Okay. You guys want to do that? The Air Force Wyoming, Air Force -4?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right.
And then let's pick an SEC one. We had several SEC games. Which SEC game did we like the most?
I like the Oklahoma, South Carolina under.
OU, South Carolina under.
Give me the number there. Since that was the play.
It's 43.5, I think. Let me go look.
All right. You good at 43.5 there, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, it's below key of 45, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, 43.5 is fine.
All right.
I completely pulled that out of my. Okay, yeah, 43.5.
Wow, that's impressive. All right. Anything else? Do we have any like kickball C you're betting on or golf? Lee, any special plays from the cage this weekend?
Yeah, I got a pretty decent roll going with these main events. UFC is in Canada this weekend.
Yep.
So a lot of Canadian fighters. The card's not that great because the Canadian fighters just aren't that good. But the main event is not Canadian fighters. It's René de Ridder. He is going up against Kyle. Crap, why am I forgetting his name? Why did I want to say Kyle Allen? It is Brendan Allen. Yeah, sorry, Brendan Allen.
Brendan Allen.
So René de Ridder, like ever since he's had like 4 or 5 fights since he's come into the UFC in the last couple of years, and he's honestly taken my money like in all these fights. He's like a jiu-jitsu master, but the thing is, this is the thing about it, the dude is massive. He is huge for the division, and his striking's not great, but he hits really freaking hard. Like he just beat Robert Whitaker. Whitaker after the fight was like, "This is the hardest guy that's ever hit me." The dude's so incredibly strong. Ritter was supposed to fight Fluffy, and that fight fell through. That would have been an awesome fight. He's gonna finish Brendan Allen in this. Brendan Allen's a solid fighter, but this is a mismatch. Like you can get René de Ridder just inside the distance. That covers KO and submission at like plus 120. He's gonna finish out this fight and set up the next fight versus Fluffy. So the winner of that will get Islam for the belt.
I absolutely love it. And a lot of times with UFC, the cards you don't think are going to deliver. It's a little bit like college football.
It's very true.
In that way. Anybody else see or you on any underdogs this week in golf?
No, I got Michael Thorbjornsen I had last week in Japan was 40-1. He got in the final group. So I was able to hedge off a little bit with Schauffele and who won. Made some money. They're off. The PGA's off this week, but I'm not off. I'm in India for the Indian Open. I played Anirban Lahiri. He's a live golfer. I believe they've already started, so kind of hard to get on him. He's not. I think he shot 2 under in the first round, so we'll see how he does. It's his home open. Rory, a bunch of guys are playing it. Victor Hovland. It's a pretty big tournament for any of these national opens are pretty big, so they have a decent field. But yeah, Honor Bond Lahiri, live golfers who I'm on in the Indian Open. Just a little small bet.
Say that name one more time, because I think I saw him at the there was a compound at the
Be
pharmacy.
careful here. What was it?
What was the name? Say it again.
Honor Bond Lahiri.
Yeah, that I think that treats toenails. Does anybody else fungus? Does anybody else have anything they'd care to add on the way out here? The Vols. What are we thinking about the Vols here on the way out the door, guys? Win, lose, draw, close game, one-sided. Where are we? Let's take it home with the Vols.
It's Heupel on the road.
And DeBoer at home.
It's not looking good.
Kyle, do you share that pessimistic viewpoint of this?
I do. Heupel usually has good scripted plays, but for some reason his teams come out on the road and it's not bad necessarily, but it's pretty mind-boggling to see just they seem very underwhelmed a lot of times when they come out on the road. I guess that's the best way to put it. And it's like it just doesn't match the chemistry and the blood pressure of the rivalry. So I hope they come out and they are ready to go hat on a hat and compete, because I think that's huge in this thing. And if they come out kind of looking flat, everyone is going to kind of start losing their minds, and your post game show is going to be something else.
Lee, now that we're close, are you feeling better about it than you were earlier in the week, or is this one of these things where as it gets closer as a fan, you just kind of go, uh-oh, we're taking medicine tomorrow? Where are you?
So Tennessee's money line suggests they got about a 30% chance to win the game. I think that's probably accurate. That's right in line. I think, give them about 30% chance to win. This is not a Nick Saban, vintage Nick Saban Bama team. Like they definitely have flaws. Like I think you can run on them. I think Tennessee's offense can have success. I think they've got to have success early and force Bama into known passing downs, into a negative play script to take away some of the adjustments that DeBoer likes to do. You need to kind of handcuff them as much as you possibly can and get a lead early in this game. But yeah, the Tennessee defense makes it really, really hard to trust unless that defensive line just absolutely dominates. Like Florida State was able to force Ty Simpson to hold the ball too long, and he was late on everything. Maybe Tennessee's defensive line can do that. It's tough. It's a tough ask. Like I think Bama wins the game, but like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if Tennessee wins this. Like I said, this is far from a perfect Bama team. They can definitely be beaten. So I have a little bit of optimism.
I do too. I said earlier today on the show, I feel good about this game. I just don't feel good enough. That's the way I would couch my feeling as a fan coming into this one. How about you, C? What's your sense of what we're going to see tomorrow?
I think Tennessee will play well in the first half. I think they'll probably come out with like usual. We'll have a good game plan. I think they'll be able to score some on Alabama. I don't think that, like I said, I like the over. I think Tennessee will contribute to that. I don't think Tennessee is going to be shut down or anything, but I don't see them getting a lot of stops. I don't think as we get closer, I get probably a little more pessimistic. I don't see much. I don't see a great path to victory. It's possible because we've talked about how close a lot of these teams are, but I just think going on the road here, the Heupel on the road, DeBoer undefeated at home, McCoy not playing, it doesn't. I just don't have a great feeling. I just don't think Tennessee's defense is really is going to be able to be good enough at any point to win a game like this. Unfortunately,
well, the Vols just have to be cleaner than they've been. I mean, they couldn't keep it clean against Arkansas in their building. Night game at Alabama, as Lee was saying, tough ask. Hey, stranger things happen every weekend in college football than Tennessee winning tomorrow night down there. So you hang on to that. But Kyle, Will, C, Lee, Brian Hartman, thank you. Clone, thank you for the comic relief. It's on, guys. Good luck. I want to thank my friends at Dos Equis. Go for Dos. Remember, go to their website, register, free beer for a year, make Dos Equis a part of your professional college football weekend, and my friends at VIP play as well. And make sure you download the app, onlinevipplay.com as well. For Lee and C and Will and Kyle and Cloney, my name is Tony, encouraging you, get those winners and stay the hell away from those losers. Enjoy your college football weekend. We love you. Peace.